Okay, let's talk about SAC and the SAP ecosystem. I think this is an important thing for all of you to understand. It's also a shifting, uh, a shifting road, I guess, or a more defined road every day that I watch SAP and its journey with the SAC and SAP Analytics Cloud. So this is a very important slide, and I'm going to spend a few minutes on it. There are now different versions of SAC. One of which I will start with on the left here, known as the Embedded SAC. This is a service which can be enabled for those of you that have Cloud Platform Enterprise Agreement credits in your Cloud Platform to enable SAC as an embedded application within another SAP application. So if you're running SuccessFactors or Concur or some CX tools, or if you're running S4 or S4 2020 on-premise, you can enable an embedded version of SAC, which will allow that application to use many of the features of SAC. The important point here is this is for single line of business. So this is not for data blending or data wrangling, but it gives you direct live access to the data in that source system. It does not give you access to any external data. So again, if you're in SuccessFactors and you're using embedded SAC within SuccessFactors, it can give you access to all of the SuccessFactors data, but nothing else. No CSV files, no text files, or a third-party system. It does give you, importantly, this query designer integration. This is a key piece and a differentiator of this embedded SAC in that you can write queries directly within the tool, and that those queries have access to the semantic models within that application. So if you're thinking about SuccessFactors, the query builder within SuccessFactors knows the SuccessFactors model and will provide the appropriate joins as you build a query. It has intent-based navigation. This is a very key feature that both the embedded SAC and the enterprise SAC bring, but that really allows you to pass parameters between transactional screens and your analytical screens. So think about your SAC tenant that with intent-based navigation, you could click on an employee ID in SuccessFactors and launch a dashboard or a iframe containing a dashboard that would have that employee's data from SuccessFactors perspective visualized, right? This is a very important thing. But finally, I'll say with the embedded SAC that it's got a limited set of SAC features. Oops, sorry. It does not come with planning. It does not come with some of the machine learning and AI features, but it does come with all of those core self-service analytics and dashboarding features. The second one, and probably the one that most people would consider with SAC, is an enterprise SAC tenant, right? So at the top here, representing these two data sets, that you can have a dashboard that contains multiple lines of business in one page. So you could have sales and operations. You can do a little bit of data blending, data wrangling between the two, but not much, right? You'd still get direct access to data, but you also add the ability to connect to external data, both SAP and non-SAP. You get the ability to connect to BW and business objects. You get the same intent-based navigation that we talked about with the embedded edition, but you also get the ability to import data as well as the full suite of SAC features, some of which I covered earlier. So key difference here, the embedded SAC is licensed very differently. The enterprise SAC is licensed per user, either on a concurrent basis or a named user basis. Finally, and I think this is important to point out, on the right side, you've got SAP Data Warehouse Cloud, right? So for customers that say, well, I have an S4 system, but it doesn't have my history, or I have an S4 system, but I also have a third-party system that's handling my warehouse management or my supply chain, and I need to be able to bring that data together. You can't do that with SAC in and of itself. As I said, it's not a chainsaw. It's not an end-all be-all tool to keep in your belt. But with Data Warehouse Cloud, you can do those things. Data Warehouse Cloud is really a data warehouse, a HANA database in the cloud, but it's a data warehouse as a service. So you get the ability to bring in different sets of data to model and blend them together, either visually or from a SQL basis, and to build federated or consolidated views of that data that can be consumed for analytics. Many of you over here may say, well, I don't have Data Warehouse Cloud, but I have SAP HANA as a data warehouse. That's fine. BW would be fine as well, obviously. But really what I want to illustrate here is that as you move from left to right, the complexity of the data modeling requirements that you have is really what drives your choice. So just to summarize, enterprise SAC, embedded SAC, and native SAC within S/4HANA Cloud, these are all the kind of flavors of SAC that you may be seeing in the market. In addition, SAP continues to support business objects, right? Especially with Lumira, Webby, and Crystal for those customers that need on-premise solutions for dashboarding and analytics. But with Webby and Crystal, you'll see more and more of the reporting functionalities that Webby used to bring being pushed into SAP Analytics Cloud functionality, as well as more and more the formatted reporting functionality that Crystal Reports brought. Finally, I just want to point out that SAC, especially with Business Objects 4.3, can now do a lot more powerful integration with the Business Objects platform. So for those of you who are running Business Objects and who are thinking about SAC, it's a lot easier both to consume your universes as a source for SAC, but also to consume your Webby reports as a source for SAC, which in some cases is a huge leap forward in efficiency because you don't have to rebuild all the semantics and the logic and the KPIs, but you can still jump ahead and get a visualization. It's a bit like somebody who lived in Africa and had no electricity or phone or anything, and then somebody just said, hey, you can have this iPhone and now you can connect to the internet. If you put SAC on top of a relatively old school business objects deployment, you can still get a lot of value while you consider the conversion. This cloud conversion program that I mentioned here at the bottom is SAP's program, which allows you to trade in credit on your business objects side for consumption with cloud credits, which can be used for SAC.